Hello, squad. I'm a broken-hearted liberal, and today we're here to talk about schisms.
No, we have fucking not. We have not done a knockout study on nigger dick size.
We have done a knockout study.
No, we have.
Here we go. Let's keep going. You sure? Yeah.
Broken heart parade, and I'm putting my heart out on display. There's no masquerade.
So I've been following the Kraut alternative hypothesis beef, mainly through JF. But it was only when I listened to the debate between Kraut and Naked Ape that I realized he was arguing somewhat akin to somebody that I had encountered on the politics Discord, Darth Dawkins. Now, Darth Dawkins is a presuppositionalist Christian. I'll admit the first 2 times I interacted with him, I got my ass handed to me. This was because this was the first time I'd actually talked to a presuppositionalist Christian, and I didn't see the path he was taking me down. And basically, every Darth Dawkins debate consists of Act 1, Darth Dawkins saying, you and science can't prove that to 100% certainty. And technically, he's right. Science doesn't attempt to prove things to absolute certainty, or absolute truth. The second act, of course, waiting in the wings is only absolute truth through God. If you watch Kraut's videos, and especially the Kraut versus Naked Ape debate, the first act is what Kraut has been playing out through this entire episode. Holding Naked Ape to a high standard of proof, or in the case of presuppositionalist Christians, an impossible standard of proof, and bashing them with their inability to meet it. And this is what I think Naked Ape was incorrectly calling poisoning the well. Now some of you might ask, what's the point in all this? What does it matter if there's differences in races? Well, in the simplest terms, there are medical implications. For instance, racial differences in cystic fibrosis, sickle cell disease, Tay-Sachs disease, etc. Furthermore, just by understanding the fact that white babies will be born to white parents, black babies will be born to black parents, and Asian babies will be born to Asian parents, you're acknowledging that there are differences between races. Why is it that tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Asians are not the typical stereotype? The fact that there are differences cannot be dismissed, nor can we pretend that the differences are only going to be necked down. As with most men being attracted to women, and most women being attracted to men, how can you say there wouldn't be any differences between races, no matter how big or small? Furthermore, questions such as this poll come from a fundamental misunderstanding of terms. The answer to whether or not race is biological or a social construct is not either, but both. For how do you decide where the line is? Are Slavs part of the white race? Are Jews? Are Northern Europeans the same as Southern ones? Where's the line? That is not to say that environmental factors don't play a role. I think a prime example of this is Jeannie, who due to severe abuse during childhood failed to develop a first language. I'm thinking on doing a more in-depth video on her in the future. Right now, the skeptic community is at a crossroads. The skeptic community on YouTube has undergone several paradigm shifts. From the inception of YouTube in 2006, the skeptic community began fighting with creationists and evangelicals, the flat earthers, the anti-evolutionists, etc. It was a hilarious shit show. And we won. Now, far from celebrations, what happened was stagnation. There was no low-hanging fruit. There was no more debates to be had. People started drifting. There was no boogeyman to fight anymore. This effectively ended 2012 in regards to the creation of Atheism Plus and Gamergate, and the battle against social justice and the social justice warriors began. Man, has it been a trip. The cringe, the absolute cringe, the salt mining. It's been fun, guys. But now this is coming to an end. The skeptic community is now bordering on a second schism, I believe. This time in regards to biological denialism. Now many of you may not have heard or remember Rage After Storm. Rage After Storm, I think, was the start. And this was the beginnings of the cracks forming. I honestly believe this is going to be the new battle that's going to be fought on YouTube. As with those battles before us, it seems the facts are on our side. There are genetic differences between races. Now, to what extent, of course, needs to be sussed out. But this is the new gate that skeptics have to pass in order to avoid being relegated to the history books. This is what happened with the creationists. This is what happened with the social justice warriors. And now it is happening again. Now, I'm feeling a little bit confident, so I'm gonna make a prediction, which may or may not be correct. But I think in the near future, let's say about 2022 to 2024, maybe 2025, there will be another schism. And this time, it will be between civic nationalism and ethnic nationalism. Essentially, the segregationists versus the not. At some point, I wonder if we'll see black segregationists and white segregationists teaming up. There's already some evidence of this, in fact. Richard Spencer has endorsed Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. And after that, maybe we'll have a cyborg revolution. Who knows?